Welcome to my YouTube channel. Victoria here. I'm going to show you how I made this chunky knit cardigan with puffy flowers for my daughter. I've been seeing them and I loved how they looked out, so I decided to make one for my daughter. So stay tuned and see how you can also make one if you have a little girl. Thank you so much for watching. So I started by pulling out 10 by 11 needles and all of them to the working position and create a mock rib. This the casting on all the needles. Then I worked in tension 6. My row counter to 0, 0, 0. I knit one row. Then I will knit 12 rows in total. So that is 12. So to create the mock rib, I removed this stitch from the needle and undid all this up to the very beginning. And started with a latch hook. I started knitting them together again, like pulling in and through, in and through. Making sure that I don't skip a stitch. I follow the stitch one by one up to the end. Then after, feed it into the needle. See, I skipped one, went to the next, did the same, undo and redo, just like that. So you can go on ahead and do it up to the edge, up to the very end, and then we shall meet up when we are creating the body. So I finished creating the mock rib. I think the mock rib, it's my first time doing it and it's quite better than the double rib on a chunky. I just love how it comes out. So after that, I'll take back to 0, 0, 0 and increase tension to 8. Then I'm going to do straight up to 30 rows. So this is 30 rows. Now this first one, 30 ended this side, so I'm going to just add one row this side so that I do my reductions from the left side, since I'd already done reductions from the right side. So I'll just transfer one needle to the next and knit 4 rows. I'm going to do this up to 50 here. When I reach 50, row counter 50, I'm going to reduce one row just to create a small armhole and then continue with the reductions. So this is row 50. I'm going to reduce only one row, one needle, sorry. It will be like a marker for me to join with the sleeves. Then I continue with my reductions. So I'm going to do reductions up to row counter 86. Then I will cast off. So now I have the two parts of the front, sorry. Now I'm going to do the back part. I have these two parts. So I'm going to work on the back part of the sweater. I'll cast on 21 needles. I do the rib, the mock rib, and I'll knit straight up to 50. Do the reduction for the armhole, then continue straight up to 85. Sorry. So I'm done with the mock rib. Like I'd said, I'm going to knit straight up to 50, do the armhole shaping, and then knit up to 86. So here I'm going to take back to 00, turn my dial to 8, tension 8, and knit straight up. and 86. So here I'll cast off. Now for the sleeve, I've already worked on the mock rib. I pulled out 12, 13 needles and worked them in tension 8. So I'm going to do now the upper part. You can do the mock rib. Still I did 12 rows and then did the mock rib. Now I'm going to do increases as I knit straight up to 70. So I'm going to do increases of 6, then after do increases of 8. Sorry, after 6 rows and then after 8 rows. Increases, I just pull out a needle here and there. So right from here, I'm going to add on after the 1, 2, 3, 4. So after the 3 increases, I'm going to do 3 increases for 6 rows. And pardon me, I'm going to do. I've done 3 increases after 6 rows. Now I'm going to do after 8 rows. So here I've done 6, 7, 8. So I pull out. So my increases will stop at 20, 21 needles. Then from there I'm going to knit straight. Right now I've reached 20, 21. So after that I'm just going to knit straight up to 70. So right now I'm going to first off just casting off. So now I have all my parts, the 2 fronts, the back and the sleeves. So I'm going to hand sew this together first, the shoulder, then after attach the sleeve on one side and then the other one. Just simple blind stitch sewing. That's what I'm going to literally use here. So after the joining, I'll be doing the ribbing, the button rib at the front. So you can go on ahead and join the parts if you can. And then we shall do the ribbing when the parts are all joined together. I've joined one part of the sweater with a sleeve. So what I did, you had seen I'd already done the shoulder. So you'll get your part of the sleeve and join it together, then attach it to the body and sew this side. Just using a blind stitch method, as it's how I usually join my chunky knits. So go on ahead and join this. After finishing the sleeve, you just attach it to this part right from where we cast off one stitch for the what? For the buttonhole, armhole, sorry. It's right here, I can easily tell. And then you join up your sleeve like that. So go on ahead and do that. Join the whole part, and then we shall work on this rib together. I'm going to do this the same way I've done this for the buttons. All right. So I finished joining up the sleeve. So now I'm going to attach it to the body. Right, by picking up a stitch from this edge. And then pick, see where we cast off here. Hope you can see that, this edge. So it's where I'm going to start from and go around over the sleeve. So go on ahead and join all this together, and then after you can join here, and then we shall work on the rib. Now I went on ahead and attached the rib for the collar, as well as one side like this. I'll just be joining them here together. I'm going to show you how I've done it on this other part, and also how you can add in buttonholes. So you have to put back your work onto the machine, every needle, making sure that it's in an odd number. The needles are odd number, because remember we are creating a mock rib, which is a 1 by 1. So using an odd number would be better. Then you put back all the work onto the machine. So after this, I'll knit 8 rows. I'm marking intention 8, so I'll knit 8 rows. These are the 8 rows, so we shall do our drop stitch and then knit again. But however, since I'm doing the buttons, I'm going to do the buttons in this first stitch, these lower stitches, because that's why, if you can look at this is where I started reducing from, about here. So I'll put my buttonholes in this space, about 3 buttonholes, one here, another in the middle, another in the last end. So it's where I'm going to put them, just between here. And I hope you can see that so closely. So dropping one and then stitching back. So this first one, I'm not going to create a buttonhole. I'm going to create it in the second row that I'm going to be dropping this one. So how I'm going to create it, I'm going to knit in the middle by picking up stitches in the middle. Then right after that, I'll go a bit on the side so that I create a hole here. Then continue in the middle. So you see, my finger can go through, meaning the needles, the buttons I'm going to use can also pass through. So it's just a matter of, it's how I'm going to create the buttonholes. You can look at this rib is kind of so big, a button can easily pass through. So when I was putting back, I just made it close to the one on the side, so there is enough space for a button. So that's how I'm going to create these buttonholes. These ones I'll work in the middle space, skip and row. Since my next buttonhole is about here, let me see, I'll drop this drop this, drop this, drop this, and also this. So this is where my next buttonhole is. My other one, I'm just going to do it right here so that I balance that too. So this is, I'm doing my second buttonhole. So I'll just pick up this stitch and work starting from the middle, then go a bit on the side for the buttonhole to be created, then get back in the middle and put back the stitch. So you can see right here there is enough space for a button to pass. If you compare this where I'm dropping the buttonhole, where I'm creating the buttonhole, and this, you can see there is a huge difference. Here my finger can't easily pass through, but here my finger can easily pass through. So I'm going to do this straight in the middle, picking up stitches and feeding them in the middle until I reach the next for the button, for the other buttonhole. So this is where my third buttonhole is going to be. Start off in the middle, then go bit off on the side and come back in the middle and feel that. So go on ahead and work this. Now that I'm done with the part of creating the buttonholes. I'm just going to do all the same all through and then cast off. Like, I'm not knitting any row, I'll just cast off the way it is. So go on ahead and do that, and then we shall meet when we're done. So far our sweater is almost done. Just going to add the buttons and then the flowers, and it shall be ready. I crocheted these flowers using a pattern from Anna Craft. I'll leave a link in the description below, and added the buttons, and that's how the sweaters turned out to be. Please subscribe, share, like, comment. Let me know what you think.